Yeah, one of my favorite guests right here, Derek Lee from Brain Health Formulas. We're going to drop right in. People getting motivated and trying to get their New Year starts cold. No one wants to get up and wake up. But I want to start, first of all, a bit of the genesis story of, because I know you had some personal challenges, which actually inspired you to create Brain Health Formulas.
Yes.
What were some of the bigger challenges that you met and you go, these are the things I need to address for me, and how this helped?
I was diagnosed with 13 autoimmune disorders in a 4-year time frame and giving an end result of having less than 6 months to live based on brain degradation.
Wow.
That was my motivation to figure something out. And so what I recognized after lots of research was the only way to actually do something science and medicine have spent over a century trying to do is I had to build an amino acid complex to rebuild my brain.
Wow.
And so that took me 4 or 5 months to figure that out.
Right.
And here I am, 5 years later.
And that's what makes your product unique, is this proprietary property.
The
right?
amino acid that's what does all the work.
Okay, so that's really that genesis, and that's what makes this unique. I know we've had conversations about it, but I want that to be able to be translated. You know, what makes this so unique, and the fact that you've been able to do it for yourself and creating this great, of course, brain health. Well, how do we get motivated when we don't want to be motivated? What can we stimulate in our brain, man? This has been going on for centuries.
This has, and so one of the things that I developed, a recent formula called Sierra-at-Tahoe, actually benefits the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is a gland in the brain that if the hypothalamus is not working properly, then the thyroid doesn't work properly. Because it creates signals to the thyroid, it creates signals to the pancreas, it creates signals to the liver. Every single organ in the body, the hypothalamus affects. So if we are having issues with cholesterol, the hypothalamus is arguably responsible. If we're having problems with our pancreas, the hypothalamus is responsible because it affects how insulin's produced.
Oh, so how do we treat this beautiful nugget in our brain? What's the what are we doing?
The Sierra-at-Tahoe formula, that actually so this is how I found out about how it's working, is it affects appetite. Not metabolism, but appetite. So that's been to me, that's the $1 million question, is how do we get away from this insatiable urge to want to eat more and more and more and more?
Yep.
When are we satisfied? When do we ever feel like we've eaten enough food? Because if we just keep eating, we don't ever really feel full until we've overeaten. Yep. And then we have to deal with lethargy and all the other stuff associated with it. And that's how we pack on weight, because there's no gauge on how much to eat. And the hypothalamus is responsible for appetite.
That makes brilliant sense, because this happens all the time. I mean, you eat and people are like, oh, I'm eating healthy, but also portion size. But going back, they may want to put more on their plate, but they go, well, I want to go back and get second and thirds.
Yeah.
Guilty. But that thalamus now will trigger, like if we take care of that part of our brain, that will allow us to go, oh, no, wait, I don't need to eat till I'm full.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied.
Satisfied.
Oh, that is a $1 million question. I know we got to wrap things up. I think, how do we find personal satisfaction mentally before we get insatiable?
So the hypothalamus also affects the pituitary.
Yep.
And so hypothalamus affects dopamine production.
Oh.
Dopamine production is I'll throw this, I know this we have out on time.
Yep.
Hypothalamus affects dopamine. Parkinson's is associated with lack of dopamine production.
What?
And here's this, the biggest most critical factor of the hypothalamus function, brain trauma. The hypothalamus is what is affected with brain trauma.
Okay. And that's good. I'm going to get in it because I do talk about trauma in my next segment as well. We're going to jump off point. Join us next Monday. We're going to jump off and continue that conversation. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing Brain Health Formulas and your wisdom.
Thank you, Sean.
Great to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
Golden Nuggets, more coming your way. Motivational Monday, y'all.